If you're anything like me, you think that you know how well you're sleeping and how your body is recovering. And you're guessing that every day you wake up, you're going to just feel how you think that you feel. And then you're going to hit training accordingly. I thought that for ages. But now we have some amazing technology that is available. And I've used it for a couple of weeks. And I do not know how I feel every day. And it's actually taught me a lot already. So, new episode of the Mono Radio. Today I have Nick Bedouin back in.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, anytime.
Perfect person to have on for this topic, which is the Whoop wristband versus the Oura Ring. Wearable technology.
Yeah.
Where are we at today? What is it all about? So if you're curious about it, this next hour is going to teach you a bit about each of those technology pieces, and you might get a good idea whether or not you want to get one. Does that sound about right, Nick?
Yeah, I think so. I mean,
that's what we're going to cover.
I think we can only really cover our experience so far. We're both pretty new to it, so I think for me, it's just about what I've learned from the data and how you can use that to be better in life and in your training, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start with the basics. Nick has the Whoop band, and it spells W-H-O-O-P.
Yep.
Whoop. And then I have the Oura Ring, which is a ring, and it spells O-U-R-A. Let's start with, as I said, just the basics. What is the Whoop band? How does it work? Nick, you can start.
It's just a heart rate monitor, like the most basic thing that it can be. There's no screen, there's no nothing. You wear it.
It's just an elastic strap.
Yeah, just an elastic strap. Has a little clasp, comes on and off. You wear it 24 hours a day, every day.
How do you charge it?
How do you charge it? It's a good question. It has a little battery pack. So you charge the battery pack, and then when it's ready to go, you just click it on, slide it on, and it charges.
So it sits on while it's charging?
Yeah, and it's pretty small. It's just a little tiny thing. And that takes, they say it's a 5-day charge on the new. This is the 3.0. This just came out in the last 6 months. And I think reality, it's about 4 days you get out of a charge.
And the cost, how does that work?
Well, so Whoop is a subscription. You don't actually pay for the device. The device comes with your subscription. So when you go to buy in for your first time, you have 3 options for 6 month, 12 month, and 18 month. As those each 6, 12, 18, it gets cheaper and cheaper. So
per month.
Per month. So I went on a 24 month. I had a discount code from Mind Muscle Project, which is awesome. Thank you. And I believe I paid $24 a month.
Oh, 24 US.
No, 24 Aussie a month.
Oh, that's cheap.
Yeah, it was like $380 for the year.
Okay.
Yeah, if the math's do right. You can check later.
So you signed up for 24 months, which is 2 years.
12 months.
12 months. Okay.
12 months. Yeah.
Okay.
So I figured I was going to get 18 months, but I figured let's go 12 months because 12 months is a whole year is pretty long. Usually, I reckon the whole wearables, people get the novelty wears off pretty quick. So it's $31 a month, I believe, after your initial subscription goes out.
Yeah.
So then after my first year, if I want to keep going, I'll be paying $31 a month.
Yeah. And it's connected to an app on your smartphone.
Yes. And there's a desktop version too that you can check on your laptop or your desktop at work, which I do. So the main things that it tracks, so it just measures your heart rate, but it measures 2 different types of heart rate. It measures your actual... do we want to get into this part now? Or
that's maybe a bit detailed. We can start with some of the differences between the Whoop band and the Oura Ring. So I can kind of say what the differences are compared to what you just went through. So with the Oura Ring, it's not a subscription base. It's a pay upfront cost. The main ring is $299 US. There's a couple of options. You could get a fancier looking ring. I think that's $100 more expensive. And then you can get one with diamonds on it, and that's $1,000 US. But realistically, most people are going to buy the $2.99. It's
Yeah.
an upfront cost. You pay for that, and your cost is done.
Yeah.
It does. I have to take it off to charge it. It's one of the things you mentioned.
Yeah.
So I take it off, put it into a little charging base. It charges pretty quickly. They advertise that one charge should be about 7 days, a full week, but same as you, I reckon it's about 4 to 5 days, and then I've got to recharge it again. As with you, it's connected to an app. I use both the laptop version, the desktop version, I should say, and the app on the phone. The app on the phone is a bit better. I do have to track or plot in to the app my activities, so all my training. That's probably a big topic we can go through a bit more in detail later. But I think as a general overview, I think the Oura Ring is meant to be a bit more detailed with sleep and recovery, and the Whoop Band is a bit more detailed with the training. They both do everything, but to a certain extent, I think.
Yeah.
Would you say that's right?
Well, because I listened to the Whoop podcast, which is also pretty good if you especially want to learn how to interpret the data that gets spit out at you.
Yeah.
Sleep is huge.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So their metrics, strain, recovery, and sleep. The sleep is probably one of the biggest ones. And they carry on a lot about your sleep and the quality of sleep and the
important.
3 different types of sleep that you get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So back to my introduction, where I thought I was sleeping really well. I've got no kids, very little stress in my life. I do sleep pretty well.
Yeah.
But when I got the data from the app, I definitely don't sleep as good as I think.
Yeah.
So you mentioned 3 different things there that the app does. Let's maybe go through those and then we can compare the 2.
Yeah.
I think that's good. And
Yeah,
let's
yeah,
start
yeah.
with sleep.
Yep.
Okay. So how does the Whoop Band score the sleep, and what are you looking for in the morning when you wake up?
Okay, so Whoop, it's 40 to 100%, and I believe you can go below 40, but
Then you're in real trouble?
Yeah, you're in real trouble. So
Quick question. Did
Yeah.
you go below 40 on the Sydney to Hobart race?
yeah, it actually it didn't log the days. It
'Cause you didn't sleep?
Yeah, it said incomplete data. So it
Wow.
measured the strain, but it couldn't measure the sleep just because it was
you're all over the
wonky.
shop.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it measures your time in bed, your disturbances, your latency, which is how fast it takes you to fall asleep, the hours you get versus the hours you need, and the main thing which I learned was the 3 different types of sleep and how they affect your recovery. So it measures based on your heart. It's all heart rate and your HRV and your resting heart rate, your light sleep, your REM sleep, and your SWS, which is deep sleep.
SWS. Okay, yeah, deep sleep. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
So every day it'll spit out. There's a sleep coach. So for the week, you can put in which days you want to perform, peak, and get by. So the sleep coach will then calculate what time you should be going to bed based on your wake up time.
So it basically gives you a coaching advice in the morning when you wake up.
Yeah. So, and it even goes into your days, how your day will actually put you into what your baseline, which is your normal amount of sleep that you need, your strain. So if you have a big day in the gym or a big life day, that will change the amount of sleep that you need for that particular night. Your sleep debt.
Yeah.
And then your naps, which is like your top up.
Advices you'd give
Yeah.
yourself. So it's very similar to the Oura Ring. So I get a score. To let the listener know how the Oura Ring works. I wake up and I get a couple of main data points that I look at straight away. Total sleep time, which is what really surprised me.
Yeah.
Because I reckoned I had 7 to 8 hours sleep a night. I don't. I'm averaging between 5 and 6.
Oh my God.
But time in bed is 8 hours.
Oh, wow.
So it's very different, right? So I would count my sleep as going to bed and then when I wake up.
Yeah.
But it's very different. So because as with the Whoop app, I get light sleep, REM sleep, and deep sleep, and awake time. And I surprisingly have a lot of awake time. So those 2 numbers were really good to get. And then I get a sleep score, which ranges from, I should double check this, It ranges from 0 to 100, I believe. And I've been getting around 50, 60, which is a lot lower than I thought. So the sleep score is a great indicator in the morning of how my sleep has been overall. And then you can go into individual numbers, which is total sleep, like I mentioned, total amount of duration that I've slept, efficiency. And the efficiency is a measurement of the sleep quality, so how much has been spent in deep sleep or REM sleep. Restfulness, which is sleep disturbances.
Yep.
So if you wake up a lot, by the way, all of these numbers have been in the red lately.
Yeah.
I think also because it's been hot. REM sleep, deep sleep, latency, that's how quickly I go to sleep, and then timing. And timing is looking at your circadian rhythm. So if you go to sleep, go to bed when it gets dark, and then get up when it gets light, that's like another thing they look at.
Yeah, that's that's a big thing they always preach about Whoop, and you got so many different people keeping a consistent bed time and wake time, even on the weekends to weekdays, just being consistent, because your body does, the last podcast I listened to, they compared it to your kids, how important it is to get your kids to bed at the same time every night. It's just the consistency. Your body adapts to that. And it's the same thing with grown-ups, but we don't do that.
Well, I do that a lot just because of my lifestyle. I've been able to do that day in, day out. If it's a Monday or a Tuesday or a Saturday or Sunday, it doesn't matter for me because I don't really go out and stay up late. And I always get up early, generally for a surf at least. So for me, that's timing is like pretty much been the only optimal score I've had lately. But I know a lot of people have very different times from the weekend to the weekday. So that data has been really interesting, and it gives me a graph throughout the week to see if I'm falling within the parameters of optimal timing. So sleep has been really good and really interesting to
how
get that
little
data.
sleep you get. God,
I know.
you wake up a lot.
What are your numbers?
So I average, my performance is 87%, which is very
Sleep
high.
performance, So
which
it's top is 100?
Yeah. So I'm in the 95th percentile for men in my age group, which is 35 to 40 in the world for Whoop, because they give you
global data.
Yeah, they do. They give you a performance assessment every week on how you're going, your sleep, your training, and recovery. I'm really good at sleeping. I made it a priority.
I'm very surprised about my numbers, it's like what I said in the beginning. So how much total sleep do you get, and how much time do you spend in bed?
So I get about, let's see here, I average, I think I wrote it down just because I average about 7.5 hours of sleep every night. And that's been over the 70 days. That's my average.
And that's a sleep and not time in bed?
Yes.
Wow. That's amazing. That's where you want to be at.
My average I need is about 8 hours and 20 minutes is what it always says. So I'm
just... So you're pretty close.
Yeah, an hour is a lot.
Yeah. 2 kids as well. So.
Yeah, but I'm like, my wife hates it because as soon as I put my head on the pillow, I'm usually out.
Yeah.
And one of the big things that, I'm sure if we talk about that helps with that is, in fact, I've been using CBD oil since August. And I find that has helped with how fast I fall asleep, turning off, and my deep sleep.
How quickly you get into deep sleep. Yeah.
And one thing I've learned from this, especially in this sleep, is how you feel relative to how much REM sleep and deep sleep. So for people that don't know, your REM sleep is what your body uses to repair your brain. It's the brain
Cognitive
recovery.
function.
Yep. And your deep sleep is what your body uses to repair the body.
Muscle repair, for instance, or muscle growth.
Yeah.
Very important.
Yeah. So it is. And you can feel the difference. And if you have a lot of restless sleep with a lot of disturbances and you're waking up a lot, you'll have bigger block of light sleep. And your hours may be the same. Say I get 7 hours of sleep, but I've got 6 hours of light sleep. You don't feel as good as if you had... Say last night I had 3 hours of REM sleep, nearly 3.5 hours, and 2 hours of deep sleep.
That's good.
Yeah.
Good numbers.
So that is, I find that the CBD oil has helped get those numbers higher, which in turn, you feel better.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people have been saying that they've been on the CBD. So just because I haven't had the ring long enough and I'm trying to in the beginning, when you get either of these, it takes the technology a bit of time to calibrate.
Yeah.
So I have not been taking the CBD oil in the evening now because
Yeah.
I want to get the ring fully calibrated
Without it?
Then without it,
Gotcha.
get my numbers, and
Yeah.
then start with the CBD and then compare it.
Yeah.
But it's been so hot lately. I don't have aircon where I'm at now, so
Yeah.
I'm going to blame that a little bit on my sleep as well.
It does. You need to be cool to get
Yeah.
better sleep.
Try to take a cold shower before, but it helps a little bit. One difference I wanted to have a look at is the Oura Ring measures the body temperature as well, and I get a discrepancy or whether or not I'm like 0.2 degrees above or below what my normal should be.
Yeah.
Do you get that with the Root?
No
I think that's a
body
little
temperature.
difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is interesting.
Yeah, I would say definitely. They always say the cooler you are, the better.
Yeah.
Better for sleeping.
So from the Oura website, they actually advertise that they measure the body temperature every minute while you sleep. So it gives you a reading throughout the night. So
does it fluctuate?
Yeah, a tiny bit, but it fluctuates by 0.1 to 0.2 degrees. Or at least that's my numbers.
Yeah, gotcha.
I'm guessing if you fluctuate by like 1 or 2 degrees,
you get sick.
you're in trouble.
You're a lizard.
Yeah. Do you get heart rate variability? I know you do. So
so
let's talk about that number.
Well, I think that's the cornerstone that Whoop sets itself apart from, say, a lot of other fitness trackers is the algorithms they use in just using heart rate variability in their in the recovery function of how they calculate how you recovered and how important that actually is. And I think it's kind of it's in fashion at the moment in fitness and wellness of heart rate
There's some confusion around that number. I've had some friends that have been getting the Whoop band and they have been asking about the heart rate variability number, and is it meant to be big or low? And there's total confusion around it because it's also individual.
Yeah, 100%.
Yes. So when you if you get one of these devices, I'd say first week, the heart rate variability number is almost not relevant for you. You got to see the trend throughout.
Well, Whoop takes 4 days to actually give you any data.
Oh, it doesn't even give you the HIV. Okay.
Yeah. So it hangs on. It's 4 days, and it gives you a few basic things because obviously you're excited and you want to see it. But it doesn't calculate anything for 4 days until it gets a baseline. And then it starts adjusting from there. And then, I mean, there's people, some of the people on the podcast that work for Whoop have had it for 6 years and have 6 years of data.
Wow.
Yeah.
Rob Downton has had it for ages as well. He bought it when it wasn't on subscription, and he's the same. I think he's got 3 or 4 years of data from himself.
Yeah, it's nuts.
It's awesome.
And basically, the people that develop it, the algorithms are always changing as they're learning, and as they're figuring out what's important to actually track and how to track that. Their algorithms are always changing. That's just what they're saying, at least. I mean,
so what we went through a little bit of the sleep part of the app, and now when we started to talk about the HRV data, that's more of the
recovery.
That's what Whoop calls it, and the Oura Ring calls it readiness.
Yep.
And same there. If I start this time, it's I get a readiness score at the beginning of the day.
Yep.
And again, it ranges from 0 to 100. If you're 80 plus, it's really good. You could have a double day if you wanted to, if you're an athlete. If it's around 50, it's pretty low. And mine this morning was 51. My number has gone down a lot, just mainly because of sleep. But it looks at my resting heart rate, particularly throughout the night. It looks at my heart rate variability. Actually looks at the respiratory rate as well, which is quite interesting.
I wonder how it does that.
I know. I agree. And then again, the body temperature. So I get a score that takes all those things into account. How about the Whoop? Well, you get a recovery score, right?
Yeah, so we get a recovery score 0 to 100. 0 to 33 is red, 33 to 66 is yellow, and that's probably the majority of your time is in that. 66 to 100% in the green.
Oh, so 66 and above is
it's your good day. Yeah, definitely. To put it in perspective, my biggest green streak in 70 days has been 3.
Oh, okay. That's pretty good.
Yeah, so generally it's 1 or 2 days, and then you're back in the yellow.
Because you're training, though.
Yeah. So, and recovery is based on HRV, resting heart rate, basically. And it takes in consideration their third module it's called strain, is what they do. So strain, recovery, and sleep.
Yes.
And the strain and recovery, well, that's how you basically track how hard you should go every day and how much your effort you're putting out every day.
Yeah. So let's talk about the strain score, because that's different with the Whoop and
Yep.
the Oura Band. So with the Whoop, it's a wristband, and you can wear it pretty much to all the classes that you do here at the Mono Gym.
Yep.
I'd say.
Yeah, definitely.
For me, with the Ring, I almost can't wear it for anything here. Because
Yeah.
if I'm gripping a barbell, kettlebell, dumbbell, pull-up bar, the Ring's pretty much got to come off.
Yeah.
So I have not been wearing it. So I actually manually
to
put
the
in an
data.
activity into the app.
Yeah.
So it gives me, I put the time in that I did the training. I have to give it some kind of activity measurement. So the ones I've been using has been cross training for the training in the gym. They don't have surfing in there, so I've just put swimming as an easy swim when I do that. They don't have jiu-jitsu in there, so I've been putting boxing in there to use something similar. But all of that is really why one of the other reasons why my readiness score is so low, because I manually put that in. I'm really curious if I didn't put that in, what my score would be for the readiness.
Well, your recovery, your readiness would have to be higher, obviously.
I'd say so, because it's always red. So one of the things it measures is previous day activity.
Yeah.
That's all been put in manually.
Yeah.
And with me, it's always red, especially now during holidays.
Do you wear it surfing?
I can, but I don't, just in case I lose it. But it is water resistant to 100 meters.
Okay.
So I can wear it. I've been wearing it in the sauna. If I go for a light swim, I'll wear it because I can control it the whole time. But if I get wiped out on a wave, I'm a bit nervous. So with you, how do you put in the data for the workouts, and do you wear it during the workout?
I wear it the whole workout. You can, which is the most important time to have it on. I wear it on my wrist. It's actually, they give you, it's meant to be basically 2 finger widths up from your wrist, just above the little knuckle bone.
So you can do cleans and handstands.
Yeah, and I just slide it down. They make a band for your bicep. And a lot of CrossFit athletes will use the bicep band because they don't like it.
I saw that in Dubai,
And if you do jiu-jitsu, because they do have that, there's like a grappling. They have like a different band that is a bit thicker and padded so that you can wear it while you're...
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
If anyone listening that does jiu-jitsu and are thinking about getting the ring, never freaking wear a ring grappling, because I've seen some bad accidents where the ring catches skin and gets pulled, and you can tear some skin right off. So be careful with what you're wearing if you're grappling. But,
same with sailing.
Oh yeah,
don't wear
sure. So tell me some examples of strain scores that you've been getting after workouts, good ones and bad ones.
So how I do my workouts and my activities. So when I come into the gym, I will go into there's a function in the app called the Strain Coach, and I'll pick functional fitness because
that's the closest as you get to CrossFit.
It's CrossFit for sure. Yeah. And I'll start the activity, and basically it will spit out. I start it. When I finish, I stop it, and then it will give me all the different metrics during that activity.
So it's measuring your heart rate, obviously.
Yeah.
That'll go up and down.
Yep. So your average heart rate, max heart rate, the duration, and calories burned.
Yeah.
Which is a metric based off how much exertion you're putting out based off heart rates.
And then at the end of the class, you get a strain score.
Yeah. So it'll then take about 5 minutes, and then it'll give you that activity. How much strain you used, and they go basically 0 to 21. It's a bit funny. There's 0 to 10, 10 to 14, 14 to 16, 16 to 18, then 18 to 21.
And it's very rare you go above 18.
Oh yeah, like I've
highest
never. I can tell you.
I think you had a 40-minute AMRAP here or something.
Yeah.
That's the highest one.
So my all-time highest was 17.4.
Yeah, and that's high.
Yeah. And that. And I only went that high because I had a really good recovery day.
Yeah.
So I just went.
You're actually listening to your Whoop app.
I do. So I came in that day thinking I was going to do the CrossFit workout, and then I had such good recovery. I said I'll do the 40-minute functional fitness because it's a harder workout, and I wanted to see how. I wanted to push the strain a bit.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
And that's how it does it. But it's funny. So I'm running the Android version of this app.
Yeah.
And it's actually a little bit different than the Apple app. So one thing that we didn't mention that I haven't talked about for the Whoop with sleep and recovery is that when I wake up in the morning, it'll actually ask me a few questions to help calibrate. So it helps with the algorithms and to determine how you're actually sleeping. Hopefully, I can pull them up. So every morning, that's the first thing I do. Just jumping a little bit back to the sleep is I'll ask about: did you have any caffeine? Did you have any alcoholic drinks? Did you sleep with someone in the bed? Did you Did you have any screen time with a device? Did you
Wait,
actually
so it asks
read?
you all these questions, and you're going to manually put them in?
Yeah, that's in the morning. So
Do you do that?
Yeah, 100%.
Oh wow! How long does that take you?
10 seconds.
Oh really? Okay, so
Yeah.
it's just yes, no, yes, no,
Yeah,
yes,
you
no.
just tick a extra tick. Bang, 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 done. Same with recovery. So then it'll ask me, how do you feel? Are you sore, slightly sore, can't walk? Are you injured? Are you stressed? Are you sick? It'll ask me these questions. Basically, for me, 99% of the time, it's the same answers all the time.
Yeah, okay. So that's actually both good. There's pros and cons to that because that's how a coach would do it with you as well.
Yeah.
If we had time to do that, where everyone is like,
Yeah.
how do you feel today? Blah, blah, how did you sleep? All that stuff.
Yeah.
And I'd say it's a little bit of a con that you have to manually go and do it, but it takes no time by the sounds of it.
Well, my understanding is that it's all customizing the scores to that. So if it's gathering baseline information with your heart rate, and then it needs to modify the data that it's getting in. So if you for some reason have a really high recovery score, your HRV or something's all out of whack, and you've put in these, I feel terrible, I'm sure it must
adjust it.
Yes.
Yeah.
To that. Okay. So one thing with the Android app, though, which I don't know why all this strains. So the guys in the gym that have Apple, after a workout, it'll actually ask them a few questions, the same perceived exertion rates and a few other things that they have to put in at the end, which I don't with the Android.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay, so after your strain score, when you do a workout, you get a
So
perceived
before you
exertion.
before it gives you a score, it'll ask you these questions. What you...
Well, we do rate of perceived exertion at the gym in the program, so you can just put in those numbers. 8 RPE, 80%. That's interesting. There's no manual input in the Oura app similar to that, except that I have to put in the activity, but I don't really... no, I do. You give it an easy, moderate, or hard rating when you put it in, but that's pretty much it. But and it seems like mainly what it does is calculate how many calories you're burning.
Yeah. Which is a dark science. I just listened to the podcast on how they calculate calories, and it's just...
I've got no faith in that.
No, it's pretty loose. Yeah.
So I also, because it's well, with my calories that I put into the app that I'm burning. There's not really any correct activity because for surfing I put in swimming, for jiu-jitsu I put in boxing, so it's not even the right one. I put in the duration, which is also a little bit, I don't know exactly how long I've been going for, but let's say I'll go for a 45-minute class, if I go for an hour class, I might have just been training for 45 minutes. And then whether it's easy, moderate, or hard, I'm not really sure, but my calories is like through the roof. I'm burning. Even if this number is not quite correct, I'm almost 2,000 calories a day.
Yeah. Well, let's put it. I'm
just in training.
Yeah, I think I average from 25 to 17. So 25 would be a workout day that I train on.
Do you mean 2,500?
2,500 calories. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like my
That's for your
recovery
total
days.
day.
Is 17.
Yeah.
Interesting enough, Sydney Hobart race days, I was nearly 6,000
calories per day.
Yeah.
Dang. Yeah. See, that's so these numbers are all through the place because if you train once a day and you put that in your Whoop app, you're saying that app is giving you roughly 2,500 calories.
Yeah.
Whereas with me, it gives me, well, let's say cross training today, it only give me 200 calories.
Yeah.
So, and my total day is 1,500, but I've surfed, trained.
be way
once
more
just
than
be
that.
way more. So,
Yeah.
so those numbers is, I don't really pay too much attention to them. Okay, let's go through the biggest benefits that you've had with the Whoop app so far. What's your, my common
Okay.
question? What's your big takeaways and what are you
So-
benefiting from it?
Big takeaways is, for me, is my sleep culture, if you want to give it a name, like
Yeah.
how I prioritize sleep and rest. Not just for training, this is only a part of my life, but for work, especially for me, I'm a very seasonal job. From October, November, December, I'm working a lot of hours. So I need to be, and I'm up at 5 every day. So being consistent with my sleep routine, and I've got 2 little kids, which is not always easy. Whoop basically gives you something to look at, and with the sleep coach telling you, like, some days it's like you got to be in bed by 8:30, which is like impossible to do.
Yeah.
But it's just something in the back of your head, and for my personality type, I want to get a good score. I want to, because
Gamifies it.
yeah, exactly. But you want to. It's not doing it because it's a metric. There's a reason why it's figured out that you need to get that sleep, and you feel better sleep. And can only from offshore sailing, and that, say, the Sydney to Hobart that I just did, with where you get no sleep, and how bad it makes you feel, and how just like your whole central nervous system is just shot. It takes me like 3 days to get better, just to be functioning normally. So if in your daily life you're getting 4 hours of sleep a day or 5 hours of sleep, you're gonna feel like rubbish, and you're not gonna train, and your quality of life is gonna be not the greatest.
I'd be super curious to see some of the data from people that work a lot, and I've heard people that saying they sleep 4 to 5 hours a night, and probably if they measured it, they probably sleep 3.5 to 4 hours maximum.
Exactly.
How the numbers would be, I think it'd be it'd be interesting to see and compare.
Yeah,
Has it made you value sleep more?
Not more, but it's made me more conscious of the importance of it. Because I've always, like, if you're into wellness and CrossFit and the training, I think in our community, there's always, if you follow or listen to any podcast on it, everyone talks about how important his sleep is, but you never know just how important it is until, say, you get a device like this and you can actually track it and monitor it. So I've always known how important sleep is, and I prioritize that in my life. But now with this, it can, I can see I got to be in bed, and it changes your habit of, okay, I've got to, instead of just sitting on my phone for an hour, go to sleep.
Just get off it earlier.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
it is fun the way it gives you a number, and like I said, gamifies the whole experience, and it gives you a number day by day. So instead of being the person that says, I get pretty good sleep, I usually sleep quite well, which was me all the time, I would just go through the week and be like, I sleep pretty good. It's rare that I have a bad night's sleep. But now I can see and compare Monday till Tuesday, Tuesday till Wednesday, Wednesday till Thursday, and look at my training and the activity that I've done and kind of get a measurement of how I'm going and if I should be careful. And I think one of the main reasons why you should be careful and listen to the numbers more often is so you don't get sick.
Yeah.
Because one of the drawbacks, if you train hard day in, day out, sleep poorly for a longer duration, your risk of getting sick is so much higher. Whereas if you follow your actual numbers, which is in reality listening to your body, then your chance of getting sick is a lot smaller.
No, I couldn't agree more. I mean, if you'll find out, I on average am just under an hour less sleep than it's telling me that I need, but I'm still in the 87%, which is great. So the days that I do get 100% sleep, like, say, the last 2 days I've just been sleeping like mad.
After your race.
My recovery goes through the roof. My resting heart rate goes down. HRV goes up. Your body is repairing itself. And, just looking at those big, deep sleep and REM sleep numbers, and you do feel better.
Yeah.
So it's a huge thing. And, after the race, I crashed. I was 10%, and I've even gone down. I've been up 24 hours. I've gone down to -1. Like, I didn't know you could go into -1, but I was in negative.
Yeah.
But then the next day I bounced back to 94% because I got full 10 hours of sleep.
Yeah. It also shows that your body's able to go really hard or go without sleep for a short amount of time.
Yeah, exactly.
Because every now and then we do these well, not all of us, but you did Sydney to Hobart, which is, a big physical exertion, but it's also something that you've been working towards and that you're enjoying to do. It's a competition.
Yeah.
We can do that for a short amount of time, but not all the time. We can't even just push it a little bit every day, all day, because you need to recover.
Yeah, 100%.
So what are some of the benefits for people that train on a regular basis that, the app can teach you or show you besides the sleep number?
Well, say for me, it'll actually, if I was an athlete, say like a games athlete, and I had no family, no schedule, but training.
Yeah, no work.
Yeah. They're going to maximize this data because of the recovery score. They can adjust their training to that score. So they can choose the days that they're going to go big and have double days or triple sessions, double sessions. For me, it's a little bit different. I've got a pretty set schedule with my family. I've got to train on certain days. So I'm a little bit limited to what my recovery is to what the days that I'm training. In a perfect world, when I had really high recoveries, I'd be in here training.
Yeah.
When I had low recovery numbers, I would stay away. But that's not a perfect world that we live in.
That's an athlete, like a full-time athlete can do that.
So the days that I have a moderate recovery score and I'm training will be the days that, I'm just scaling back a bit. I'll either scale the weight, scale the movement, and just take it easy and be very conscious not to have my strain go above recovery, which is a big thing in the app. The main screen is two line graphs of your recovery and your
just
strain.
Yeah.
So you're trying to basically
get them to follow each other.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And not be completely out of
opposite.
Whack. Yeah. And it's harder to do than it sounds in that the days that you come in to train and you've got a lower recovery, it's hard to scale back enough because, CrossFit's hard.
Yeah. 100%.
And the days that you have a high recovery, it's hard to get that number up even more because you push and you go harder. So that for me, fundamentally, I think has helped because now I can see I've just got another metric. I know, your body, the days you come in and you don't feel, say before you've had this, but I suffer from the not listening to my body.
Yeah. But the app kind of reinforces it,
just
right?
says,
tells you, hey, it's not a good idea to...
Yeah, oi, mate, seriously, don't... Don't go nuts.
It's funny how we all need coaching. Right?
Yeah. So for me, that's been one of the biggest benefits. On the days that I'm training and I don't need to push, I won't.
Yeah.
And I see a benefit in no injuries. Usually the next day I'll have a nice high recovery because I haven't put my strain on the body that I normally would have. I'm just, going flat out.
Yeah. I mean, these things are, I was going to say these things are the future, but they're already here. The price points are very accessible for most of us.
Yeah.
And the data that you're getting I think this is going to be something that almost every person will have available if they're training in the future.
I mean, you'd have to argue that Apple Watch wearers would have the majority of this type of information at their hands, maybe not quite so focused on performance and recovery and sleep and all that, but they're going to have some metric that they can look at as a selling point for a device to the masses.
My guess would be that Apple is going to buy one of these companies.
Yeah.
Apple will buy Oura or buy Whoop.
Yeah.
And implement all of it into the Apple Watch.
Yeah.
I think the biggest downside for me is that it's a wearable, but I get you have to wear it, right, to read the data. But I'm not into wearable technology, which some people find surprising because I'm definitely into technology. I love all tech stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't like wearing it. I've never, although I've had almost every single Apple product that's been sold, I've never gotten the Apple Watch because I don't want to wear. Well, one, I don't really wear watches in general, but two, I don't want to wear technology. I don't want to have notifications on me.
Yeah.
So for me, that's the biggest downside of actually having to wear the ring, but I'm getting used to it. I don't mind it as much.
Yeah.
I think there's pros and cons to both of these.
Yeah.
Both the Whoop wristband and the ring.
So, yeah, not a big, like old school like
Yeah,
watch.
just a normal watch. Yeah.
So I've got to have two things on my wrist, which I don't really like. But I do like at least that the Whoop's a bit discreet. It just looks like a bracelet, I guess.
Yeah.
Kind of that there's no screen on it. It's just a band, and it's pretty low profile. So,
yeah, and it's like one color.
Yeah.
It's quite. It's almost a bit of a talking point. Do people ask you what it is?
Some do. Yeah, definitely.
Like the boys on the boat when you were sailing.
But they just make fun of you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm surprised they don't have it. They like people that sail for an event like that. It'd be such an interesting.
The yachting, they all have Garmin watches.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So a lot of those guys are all running Garmin watches.
But would you say the Whoop band is way better though, isn't it, for the data?
Yes, I'm gonna say if your Whoop is you're buying Whoop for the data, you're buying Whoop for the app over anything else.
Yeah.
Because they've got this niche market with professional athletes, especially teams, big sporting teams, NFL, NBA.
You see all of them wearing it now, right?
Because another function of it is you can put team scores. So coaches can have all their athletes and all their data sitting in front of them. So come game day, they can look and see who's ready to go and who's not.
That's so mad.
Yeah,
that's
and they
so
can see
crazy.
how much sleep, how all the athletes.
I love
it's
that.
all sitting there.
Yeah.
And we have.
So if someone's been out on the piss drinking,
yeah,
they can
100%.
see it in the data clearly. And it's like, hey, you're off the game this weekend because this guy has recovered way more.
It's crazy.
It's one of the things they can say.
But if you're starting lineup, so if you're on the fence, you're just moving people around. And one of the funny things is, so I've got a team. There's 3 guys here at the gym, Matty, Cav, and Cal. So we have a team.
The Whoop Club?
Yeah, and so we can all watch each other and see all our data and see how everyone's going. And it's for the sole purpose of, drilling home that everyone's different. Our bodies are all different. Like our HRV, we were talking earlier about how personal that is. Cal's HRV is really, really high numbers.
Yeah.
And it bounces around a lot. Mine is, I have a fairly low average at 47. That's milliseconds. What is it? HRV is measured in milliseconds. And Matty Cav is, I believe, kind of around the same numbers as I do.
Okay.
Yeah. And you can see, like, I could tell who's had a few drinks the night before because they all have low recovery scores.
Yeah, this morning.
So,
yeah.
It puts things, there's another perspective you can have when you've got a group of friends.
And it's an accountability thing as well, right? When you're in the together in a way that you see each other's numbers. It's not. Yeah.
No, Matty Cav was saying he gets anxiety because he gets low sleep scores and that he doesn't want
he doesn't want to be the worst sleeper.
Yeah. But I think it's great. It's good. I wish if more people do get these, we can check you in the group because it's just another fun thing, especially here at the gym. If more people had it, you could see it, you could put it all up, everyone.
Yeah, and that's voluntarily. Some people don't want to share their numbers, but I think there's a lot of positives to it. And
again, accountability when you're in a group setting, and it's like the CrossFit ethos, group training. It's the same if you're.
Yeah, I kind of wish I had the Whoop band because I would definitely go into the group if I did. But we actually got the Oura Ring for work as a Christmas present. Yeah. So that's how I ended up with the ring. I think getting the ring and the Whoop band is a bit of an overkill. Probably just need the one. But I think we covered a lot of the basics there. So anything else that you had from numbers-wise that you feel would be interesting to add on to this?
No, I mean, listen, at the end of the day, these things aren't going to make or break you as an athlete. They're not going to make you any better, but it's just another, again, I take it it's your personality type. If you're interested in it and you want to be consistent with it and the information given it to you, I think they're great.
Yeah.
And I'm one of those people that likes to know. And
It's such a good point.
yeah. And if you don't, then God, it's just a waste of money.
Yeah.
Really.
Perfect point. I couldn't agree more, because some people, when you tell them about the device and what it does, they're like, well, that's kind of just silly. You're wasting your money on nothing. I know how I feel. And yeah, sure, like you probably do a bit, but I think it's fun. And I also think it's fun following the technology. One of the things I always say is, as soon as you let go and don't keep up with new technology, that's one of the earliest signs that you getting old as an old person. Nothing against my dad. He's like, I love my dad, but he has never been interested in any technology that's kind of come into our culture. For him, using a smartphone with a touchpad is really difficult, just because he's let go, he's not interested. And that's fair enough. But I feel like for me, I never want to let go of that. And I always want to try and keep, not necessarily on top, but I need to be an expert in all of it. But it's becoming such a big part of society, our culture, and how we
I think
we interact.
I think that this is going to be a bigger.
I think it's going to be super common.
Yeah, I think it's going to be more and more common in everyone's daily life that they'll have some type of metric to track it. It seems weird that you wouldn't.
Yeah.
When you just have to wear something and it'll tell you.
Yeah.
All this information about yourself.
And it's fun.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, with the personality type, some people might not think this is fun, but spending time on the app is actually just a bit of fun for me. I try not to spend so much time on my phone, and I've gotten heaps better at it lately. But then I got the Oura app and the data, and that's actually what I do more now. And I look at my numbers, look at how I'm trending, but I would say that's better than scrolling Instagram just mindlessly.
Exactly. Well, it's funny. My wife ran into Cal and I can't remember who else yesterday morning, and I've just done this race, and they asked, "Oh, how's Nick going?" And she answered them, "Well, he had a 94 recovery." That was her answer.
Well, it's a number, right?
Yeah. So,
and anyone that knows familiar with how the numbers work, they're like, "Oh, yeah,
exactly." So, yeah, I can't imagine. I can see this becoming a thing where everyone will have some metric. In the future. I mean, I can't.
And if we are going to go into the future, and it might not be that far away, is that your health insurance might ask for these numbers at some point. It might be so easy to get you to either wear something or be, have your numbers that accessible that your health insurance will ask for it.
There's always a few anecdotal stories. There was one that was just on Talking Elite Fitness, and they had a member there because they're big Whoop proponents. What are their names? Tommy Marquez and
Sean Woodland.
And they had a member who, and they brought this story up on the show, that he was watching his HRV numbers crash, and he felt fine, but his numbers were really bad. So he went to the doctor preemptively, and he had some crazy brain aneurysm that was developing, and his body preemptively was trying to sort it out, and then.
And the first indicator was the number.
The HRV, because he's never had it down so low for such a long period, for 3-4 days, where it was just crashing. So in that regard, it's crazy not to have something that would tell you. And just, you mentioned about how much you sleep and how much you get sick. And, I had a bug, a flu with this. And again, it's the same thing. I watched my HRV go down, and then sure enough, 2 days later, I was sick. I was bedridden, had to take the day off work. So
I've heard similar stories as well with fighters, and they wear the Whoop band. And the trainers will look at the numbers and be like, "Mate, you're not training the next 2 days because it's going to compromise our training camp, our fight camp into the training week. And the chances for you getting sick now is too high. Take 2 days off, eat healthy, make sure you get your sleep properly and all that stuff, and then you're back into training." Makes sense.
There you go.
Cool. All right, awesome. That was a bit of fun.
Thank you.
Fun little subject to start the new year.
Fun little toys, boys in the toys.
Awesome. All right, if you have any questions about either of those devices, or if you want any recommendations, feel free to ask me or Nick at the gym. We can hook you up with a discount code if you want to get the Whoop band. Sadly, I don't have a discount code for the Oura Ring, so that one is just a normal price, I think. But I think I would recommend the Whoop Band for most members at the gym if they're interested in getting something like this. And they can jump in on your club.
Yeah, not that you'd want to, but I think Whoop has really pushed a lot, in the CrossFit community. You see a lot of athletes wear it, and it's just
every single athlete are wearing it.
Yeah. So, and it works. So, yeah.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nick.
Cheers.